Welcome back to a new vid, guys. Hey, this one I'm going to show you how to service and check over the Cruisemaster gear on your caravan. So most off-road caravans these days have the Cruisemaster either XT or ATX and a Cruisemaster off-road hitch, either it be a DO35 or a 45. And there's probably a few little serviceable parts on it that you don't even know about, and it's super easy to do, mate. Even like, you don't have to be a mechanic or a tradie or anything like that. You can just follow this quick little video and you'll be able to check your suspension and your hitch and make sure she's pretty schmicko. I'll also show you how to adjust the park brake on these hitches as well. Super easy. Hey guys, just before I kick off into the next vid, a reminder that the competition to win my 200 series is live. I'll put a QR code down here, you can grab a link. Come over here to Eli Creek, just like us, mate. Hey, ooh-wee. What a good spot. Yeah, mate, go and check it out. Can't wait to see who wins it. This here is your hitch. It's a fully off-road articulating hitch from Cruisemaster. This one is a DO45, which means it can tow 4.5 tonne. The DO35 is pretty much identical, just on a smaller scale, so it can tow 3.5 tonne. So I'll show you how to service this. I'll show you how to adjust the integrated handbrake in it. So that's pretty simple. And then if we come down here, this is a dual axle Cruisemaster ATX setup, which is independent airbag suspension. Here's your trailing arm here. You've got adjustments on either side for your wheel alignment when you take it in for a proper service. And then you've got your stone guards here to protect the shafts of your shock absorbers. And there's your remote reservoir for your shockies. And around the back here is your airbag. Here's a hot tip for you. You can get replacement stone guards. As you can see, they cop quite a hiding on rough roads. So if you've been on some real rough stuff, you can actually get on the Cruisemaster website and order yourself a new set of stone guards. You pretty much only need these front ones. They get peppered pretty hard. So let's go start at the hitch and I'll show you a few tips on how to service it, adjust it and check it over. On the front, you'll see that this is your hitch where you connect your pin to your caravan or your trailer in the front here. That swivels. So the first thing is to check that that's nice and free, and that swivels freely around and around as many times as you want. You don't want it to be glitchy or tight or clunky. So what you do there is, there is a little grease nipple on the side of the hitch. We grab that and we grab our multi-purpose grease. We click him on and then we just give him a couple of squirts. After every couple of squirts, just rotate the hitch a little bit, a few more, rotate, a few more, and then as you see, I'll grab another camera and show you. As the grease starts to come out, it'll also take a little bit of water or whatever will come out with it. So you'll see that there, the grease starting to come out. Give it another couple of pumps. There you go, you can see the grease coming out there. And that's it. You don't have to do too much, mate, eh? Just a couple of squeezes of the grease gun, rotate it 3 or 4 times, and then you've got a nice, freshly greased hitch, all right? Now, the front side of it, the locking mechanism up the front, this also needs to move nice and freely. You push the pin down, slide it back. That's how you engage the pin on the back of your car. And once it's through, you click it, make sure it moves forward, and that's what locks the hitch and the hitch pin together. This needs to move nice and freely, like so. If not, if it's full of sand and dirt and stuff, you can hose it out, use a bit of CRC, clean it all out. And next case, if you're confident at doing it, undo the grub screws, pull the plates apart, clean it up, put it back together, okay? There's just a little spring inside there, so be careful not to lose any parts and that sort of thing. But can be done, but don't do it if you're not confident, all right? And then last part on the front of the hitch is your dust cap. Now this will only click on into place when the hitch pin is locked in. So when this is pushed back, that will not be able to put on. So it's a good identifier that when you're hooking up your van and you can't get your dust cover on, you've forgotten to engage that pin like that. Sweep him over, have a look underneath, make sure it's nice inside, you haven't got any big gouges or anything gross going on in there. You don't need to lubricate that, it's all good. It just goes onto the pin on your hitch receiver and you're happy days. Next part you want to do is check the bolts that hold it down to your drawbar on your Caravan. So 22mm socket and a breaker bar. Click him on there, and then just lean on them. Well, you don't have to go overboard, just make sure they're not loose, mate. If you want to get real serious, you can get a torque wrench, look up the specs and go around and click them. If they are loose, you're probably going to have to get a 22mm spanner on the bottom as well. Hold that tight, grab your bar, push opposite ways, and click them till they're nice and tight. But if they've been installed properly, I've never had one of these come loose, but it's always good to check. Righto, handbrake. So the park brake for your DO35 and 45 comes integral or part of the hitch. You can see it bolted on down there. You've got your ratchet bracket here, and this is your cable and your adjuster going back to your brakes. All right, with this, what you want to do is you pull it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I've always been told you want about 6 to 8 clicks to be fully engaged on your park brake. This one at the moment is super loose. I can keep going. And it's still loose at the end of travel. So what I'm going to do is show you how to adjust it, and it's super easy. Down here is your park brake adjuster. Okay, so if we come and have a look, it is just a screw, a couple of lock nuts, and a little bracket. Okay, and this thumb screw here is how you adjust it. So I'll show you how we adjust this so you guys have a nice secure park brake when you unhook your trailer. Righto, now all you need to adjust it is a 14mm spanner, and that undoes the lock nuts. But if you haven't done it before, you probably need a little bit of CRC just on that adjusting thread. So just to make it easy to adjust, all right? It might get locked up with a bit of salt spray or a bit of corrosion and that. So just give them a nice little bit of a dousing in CRC. Grab your spanner, undo that lock nut, spin him back, give yourself plenty of travel, undo this lock nut, spin him back as well. Then in the center, this part here, that is your adjuster. Now what you want to do, if you want to tighten your handbrake, have it loose, so have your handbrake handle all the way down, and then you want to tighten this to the right. So as this goes in, the thread will push further this way, and that will then make this cable tighter. So let's give this a good screw. Give it a fair distance. Oh, you should be able to feel it with your hands when it starts to get a bit tight. All right, and then to check it, we can grab our handle, and still a bit loose. So we'll keep going, keep winding him in, and you'll see here, see this thread here coming out the end of the adjuster, that one, it'll spin and keep coming out as we turn that. Righto, let's give it another check. Oh, that feels pretty good to me. How many clicks was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8's pretty tight. That's nice and tight. So we are good to go. We can release that, and then to finish the job, you want to do your lock nuts up. So spin them up by hand, and grab your spanner and tighten these. 1 and 2. Done. So that's a quick and easy way to adjust your handbrake on your Caravan, just with that adjusting screw. Now when you run out of travel on that screw, it means that you have to come down and adjust your cable length, which I'll show you under the van. Still not hard, but it might be something you want to leave to the Caravan service guy when you drop it in to get a proper service on it. But that'll stop your Caravan rolling away on you. If you've got a loose handbrake, you follow that procedure, it'll be nice and solid. Hitch done. Let's climb back under and I'll show you how to service the suspension. Let's crawl under here. Now, this is a part you can do on your own pretty easily. Oh man, this still gets a bit cramped under here. Hang on a sec. Straighten that up. There we go. All right, now, super easy way to service this stuff. When you're under here having a look, there is just one grease nipple on it in the front of this trailing arm. So grab your grease gun that you used on your hitch, come down here. Now there should be a little cap on it, but a lot of the times if you've done some off-road work, that will be smashed off with rocks and that. So if you do have that and you've had lots of rocks hit this, you might have to replace your grease nipple, which I won't show you because I don't have to, but it's super easy. You just undo this with a little spanner, take that grease nipple to your local Super Cheap and match it up with one, and then replace both of them while you're at it. So undo that, put a new one in, because sometimes if they're smashed and broken or been hit with rocks, your grease gun won't work. You won't be able to get grease into them. So super easy. Chuck him on here, same thing, and then whoop whoop, start giving it a few pumps. Usually doesn't take too much if you service it regularly, and you'll hear it like so. I'll grab this. It'll just start to come out the sides here like so, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Any more and it's just going to waste grease, because it'll just keep coming out the sides. But it's really good to do that as often as you can, and especially more if you're doing lots of dirt roads and corrugations, because as this goes up and down so much in a lot of corrugations, grease in there will get hot. It'll sort of squeeze itself out, and you'll end up running dry if you don't keep this topped up with grease. So do that on both sides. Put the dust cap back on if you have one, and that's it. Pretty simple, eh? That's for the grease part of it anyway. Sorry about the camera angles under here, but haven't got many options, hey? At least you can see. Now this one here, these pins with these couple of holes in all these locations, like I said, that's for your wheel alignment. Now in our 8 years of travel on the road, and I think about 6 of them I've had Cruisemaster off-road suspension, the only thing I've ever seen come loose is these bolts, all right? From a lot of hard corrugations and that up the Cape. And I was actually, what was I doing? I was greasing these up at Cape York, and I noticed that these had just come a little bit loose. So I just thought I'd show you. Now it's a good thing to check everything while you're here. Just grab a spanner and a socket set and go over all your bolts. Just give them a tweak up, because rough corrugations is hard on gear, man. And even though sometimes they've all got lock nuts and Loctite and stuff, corrugations are unforgiving. So do yourself a favour and just check over your own gear. This one is 16mm socket on one side and a 17mm spanner on the other. All right, so what we're going to do, just grab a bar, put him on here, put our spanner on the other side, and just give him a tighten. There you go. Go around. There's 2 of these on each trailing arm, so just go around and make sure they're all nipped up. Same again, you don't have to do too much, just a little lean on it with a breaker bar, or if you have the torque wrench, get the right specs and do that. But just a nice little nip up, make sure these are all good. Do that on each trailing arm. Sweet. Bit of grease, check over all your bolts, that's about it. Now if you have issues with tyres wearing unevenly, it will be because these are out of whack and not adjusted properly, okay? So best to take it in to the Caravan service agent, and they can measure the wheel track and your wheel alignment, and they can adjust it via these and do it properly for you. Get the most out of your tyres. While I'm under here, I'll just show you quickly how the handbrake works down on your calipers down here. So the manual cable that comes through. So you'll get a bit of an idea what you did with that adjustment back up there. And then I might also, I'll just touch on, I'll show you the electric over hydraulic brake chamber or brake master cylinder, which supplies oil to your brakes when you put your foot on the pedal. All right, let's squeeze in here, and I'll show you where your park brake is. So see this here, this cable, and then this lever. This is what activates your park brake down at your caliper end. So when you pull the lever on your hitch up there, your park brake lever, it comes down here. This pulls this pin backwards, which I'll try and show you. That goes like this. And then down here, if I squeeze in, see where this pushes on that pin? That forces in and then pushes your brake pads against your rotor. And that's what applies your park brake and keeps your Caravan still. So pushes in there, forces your brake pad onto that rotor, and that's how it comes on and stops your Caravan rolling away. So down here on the chassis rail, behind this cover that lives here, that is your electric over hydraulic brake cylinder I was telling you about, or your master cylinder. Power from your trailer brake cable comes down here into this unit. You got a reservoir on top which you put brake fluid in. It tells you here .4 brake fluid, and then it compresses that through the master cylinder, comes out this side, shoots out these lines and goes to your 4 brake calipers, which apply your brakes. So that's what happens with your trailer brakes on these Caravans. That's how it works. I hope I explained that well. Sounded good in my head. Hopefully it come across well to you guys. Yeah. Hey, that's it. That is the Cruisemaster suspension setup. While I'm under here though, I always think of other things to show you. I have had over the years, because it's an airbag suspension setup, you can get some leaks now and then, like some air leaks. I'll show you a quick little trick on how to find an air leak, and then you can fix it, all right? In here is my airbag controls. Open this up. So power on means turns the air compressor on underneath and it fills up the tank full of air. Another handy tip is to, see this tank drain? Periodically drain your tank because it accumulates moisture inside of it, and if you don't drain the moisture out, it'll eventually start pumping moisture through all your air lines into your airbags and stuff, which you don't want. So give that a every now and then. Up here, like I said, I've got an auto leveling system, so it's in auto at the moment. That's what those switches on top of the trailing arms do. And then you can flick it to manual, and then I can control left and right, up and down with these switches here. Then it also got a gauge here which tells you the air pressure in them. So best way to know if you've got a leak is pump these up, and so you know that, oh yeah, 48 in one, 52 in the other. Leave it for 5 minutes, and then if you come back and if it's any lower, then you know you've got a leak and you can start looking. Now I'll show you how to find a leak. So if we're chasing a leak, I'll show you the gauge here. Easy to find a leak when you've got a heap of pressure in it. So just bag them right up to like 70 or 80 PSI. So you'll see the pressure going up, because then it's going to be easier to find the leak when you've got more pressure in the system. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is back under the van here. Oh, get under here. Up here where all the most of your components are, your airbags and your switches and your dials and your joins and all this sort of stuff, and bring some of this under. Bit of kitchen detergent in a spray bottle. Mix it up so it's pretty soapy, all right? Now what you want to do is find all these joins and spray them. So just get your detergent and spray them. Now you're not going to see anything because I don't have a leak, all right? But if I had a leak in this join, this detergent would start blowing bubbles, all right? So you find everywhere you've got an air hose join or anything that goes into these switches or the tank or the compressor, okay, and just squirt it with a heap of detergent. Go from one end to the other, and then you will find where your leak's coming from, and 9 times out of 10 it'll be where this hose goes into a quick connect, all right? Where this hose goes in, it's either got a bit of dirt or grime in it, or when they fitted it, they haven't quite cut the hose clean enough. So if you find where it is, let all the pressure out of your tank. Then to get the hose out, all you have to do is push this little collar here. So if you push in on that collar and pull the hose out, it will come out, all right? And then just wipe it over, wipe it nice and clean with a really sharp Stanley knife or a proper airline cutter. Shunk, take a little bit off, make it nice and neat, and then bang it back in. 9 times out of 10, that will fix your issue. Put the pressure back up to like 80 PSI, let it sit for 10 minutes, make sure it doesn't drop, and it should be fixed. All right, that's just a quick little tip that I've used numerous times over the years, because as good as they are, these systems and the airbags and that, you do get leaks now and then, so it's nice to know how to fix them. Done. Happy days. Hope you guys enjoyed that one, learn a little bit out of it. If you want some more of these vids, or if you've got any ideas or questions or something you'd like me to go over, hit me up in the comments below, because sometimes things that seem like second nature or easy to me might be something that you guys don't know, all right? And I'm happy to share any info. Got a lot of experience from traveling on the road for so long, so happy to help you out. And if it can help you with the serviceability and maintenance of your vehicle and your caravan, I'm all for it. Cheers guys, see you in the next one.